Hey guys, so this is going to be part two to Vendor Show 101. I have 5 tips for how to have an outstanding vendor show with just the kit. Because yesterday in my boot camp group, some of the girls are still not feeling very confident yet about going out there and tackling vendor shows. And so it is always best to hear me, and this is one topic that always gets me fired up. Okay, here's the deal, all right? You can go into a vendor show with all the stock in the world because I'm sure you're thinking, okay, well, this is easy for you to say, Shaya, because you have all the stock. Here's the deal though. You can go in there with all the stock in the world, and if you only focus about how much you're going to sell, you are going to fall on your face. Sorry that is so cut dry in your face, but it is true. You are going to just crash and burn. Okay, there's so much more that goes into a vendor show. I can't even tell you how many vendor shows I've done in the last 5 years, a ridiculous amount. I have had successful ones, I've had crappy ones. And I shared before in the boot camp group, my first one that I did, I shared a picture of it. It was not great. I pretty much had the kit, just a couple extras, and absolutely not one person came. So, did I let that stop me? Now look at me. You just have to keep going. Sometimes shows are not going to pan out, and that's a whole nother video, okay? So here are some 5 things that you need to focus on after you watch the first video that I did about how to display your kit, okay? So number 1 is your display. As I mentioned in that video, you need to add height. You can do that without going out and buying all these risers and, all these other, gadgets that you can use, or getting your husband out chopping down a tree and making you something cool. There's other things that you can do. Before, I used to use a diaper box. That's what I used, and nobody knew that it was a diaper box, and then I could shove my stuff in it when I was done. So I used a diaper box. I've used cereal boxes. We already have super cute boxes with pink zebras, so use those. Add some height to it, because if there's a bunch of people at the show, they're not going to be able to see what you have if everything's at table length. So make sure that you add some height to it. Also, add some fun decorations to it. Give it some glitz, some personality. Go through your house, take down your fall decorations, take them with you. Get out your Christmas decorations, take them with you. Add something to it, and those are things you already have, so you don't have to go out and buy new. You can totally make do, because if you think about it, if you have a table set out already for Christmas, people are going to go, okay, I really should probably start thinking about that. I do have some gifts that I could get out of the way, and then they're more apt to start thinking about it, kind of put them in the mood. So kind of think about your display. If you only have the kit, what can you do to make it more eye appealing that people are going to want to come to your table? Just make it visually appealing. Think about that. If you need help with that, show me what you have and I'll help you figure out what we can do to get it that way as well. Number 2, verbiage. What are you going to say to people? You can have every single thing in the catalog, and if you're sitting behind your table playing games on your phone, you're not going to get anything. Okay, so what can you do to talk to people? You have to talk to people. If you're going to go to a vendor show and not talk and then complain about a crappy event, it wasn't the event's problem. It was yours. Okay, that is like a giant pet peeve of mine, is when I'm sitting at a show and people are like, oh my gosh, this show just is terrible. I'm not getting any sales, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, because you're sitting on your phone. Get up, talk to people. That's what it's for. These people came there to shop. They came there to see what you're about. They came to see what products you have for them that is going to make their life better. Get up and talk to them. So what are you going to say if somebody's walking by? Hey, how are you? Have you ever heard of Pink Zebra before? What kind of scent fragrances do you like? Kind of go into it like that. Think about what you're going to say and have a plan. But you have to be talking. You have to. You're building relationships with these people, okay? Number 3, contacts. I'm going to say this, and I preach it all the time. You are not going to a vendor show to get rich. Okay, again. You are not going to a vendor show to get rich. That is not what vendor shows are for, and that is just, it's, everybody always says it, and no matter what company they're with or whatever, you are not, if that is the mindset that you have, again, you're going to fall flat on your face. You are there to get contacts, okay? You're going to get leads that are going to lead to future sales, future parties, future recruits, future other events, things like that. So how are you going to get people's information so that you can turn around and turn it into something else? So think about what you're going to do. Are you going to do a drawing? Are you going to offer a free sample? Everybody that signs up, what are you going to do? You've got to find some way of following up with these people. If they're buying product from you, are you just going to have if they do place an order or buy something off your table, are you just selling it to them and they go down the road? Then what? You don't have that information. You can't follow up with them and say, oh my gosh, how do you like your new warm apple pie sprinkles? You don't have nothing. So you got to figure out how you're going to follow up with every single person that comes your way, because that is where the money is down the road. We're planting seeds. You should know my analogy on that by now. Okay, number 4 is your follow-up system. So when you come home from a vendor show, then what are you going to do? You've got to follow up with those leads of people you talk to. Follow up with the other vendors that you met. You need to be networking with the other vendors as well while you're there. That'll lead to other shows and potential parties and potential recruits. So you got to figure out your follow-up system. I follow up right away because you don't want a hot lead to turn cold. So you need to think about what your follow-up system is going to be, how you're going to contact them, and so on and so forth. Number 5 is so important. Your attitude. Again, if you go in there and the first hour or two there's nobody there and you're sitting there pouting and scrambling with the other vendors about how terrible it is and blah, 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 it is not good, okay? So prior to going into your vendor show, listen to some music, get amped up, throw on some Taylor Swift, shake it off, and get pumped up because you're going to talk to new people that's going to lead to new opportunities, okay? So that's the first thing when you're going into a show. Then when you get there, stay positive. If it's a slow show, bring a book with you. I always have something on the side that I can be doing. Or work on some of your customer care calls. But do not sit there and complain about the show. Ever, ever, ever. You probably won't be asked back again. It looks bad to the other vendors. And trust me, after you've been doing vendor shows for a while, you know the ones that are going to complain. And you do not want to be put in that category, okay? Network with people. Turn it into a good situation. My first show, even though nobody came to that show, I networked with the vendors. And I got to know other shows and other people that put things on. And we kind of got on Facebook together and found different shows that we could go to together, and no show will leave you empty-handed if you do it right and you have the right attitude and you just, take it as a positive experience. Sometimes your shows, again, are not going to pan out. There's things that go into a show. It depends on the promoter. It depends on how they advertise. It depends on weather. It can depend on anything from road construction to if there's a football game in town. There's so many factors that go into it. So you can just never go into one and just be like, oh, it was terrible. Okay, well, your attitude decides if it was terrible or not. You can do other things, like I said, networking and things like that, to make it not a bad experience, because you're going in it for leads. Anything else is icing on the cake. If you get a sale, that's awesome. If you get somebody that's interested, awesome. But you got to make sure that you're following up and you're contacting them and you're keeping a positive attitude. So all 5 of these things all work together, and these things are the most important things that you need to focus on if you're going into a vendor show, not how much stock you have. Because again, if you have all 5 of these things mapped out perfectly, you're going to be set to go and you're going to have a great vendor show no matter what you have for stock on the table. Okay, I'm off my rant. I hope that helps some. If you still have questions about doing vendor shows, let me know and I will work totally one-on-one with you. Vendor shows are something that I feel strongly about. and they've got to be done the right way. And like I said, if you just go into it with a positive attitude and those other 5 things, you're going to have a stellar show. All right. Have a great, I think it's Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday.